If you're in midlife and wondering where the hell your desire went or how to get it back and make it hotter than ever, you just found your show. I am Dr. Stacy, clinical sexologist and certified sex coach, and this is the Purple Passion Project, the intimacy and sex podcast for midlife and beyond. Just real spicy conversations about desire, intimacy, and pleasure that will change the way you think about your sex life forever. Let's do it. What do you get when you mix purple, passion, and permission to be your true self? This podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Dr. Stacy, and this is the Purple Passion Project coming to you live and unfiltered. It's the show where we talk sex, intimacy, connection, and everything underneath the surface because let's be honest, small talk is boring and you're ready for the good stuff. So relax, drop your guard, get ready for some truth, laughs, maybe some gasps, and a whole lot of passion. And speaking of, if you've ever wondered why love starts hot and ends up lukewarm, why men might pull away, or why you keep having the same fights and getting nowhere, today's episode is going to give you some answers that you might not have been expecting. So we have relationship coach and communication specialist Andre Paradis, who spent 18 years studying why love works and why it doesn't. So today we're going to get into all of it. We're going to talk about really what makes a man want to commit, why intimacy is not the starting point of a great relationship, and all about masculine and feminine energy and how it affects desire and what most couples are doing that may slowly kill that connection without even realizing it. So let's bring, let's bring Andre onto the stage. I'm losing my voice here. Need a drink.
Not now.
lot of talking today.
Yeah.
So good to have you here. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Totally.
So I want to kind of set the stage here and talk a little bit about your 18 years of studying this whole male and female dynamic and what kind of pulled you into this work in the first place.
So a long story, but I had a ridiculous childhood. So I was confused. I didn't know why I was here. I was kind of pushed aside kind of thing. So I was sort of looking at like questioning why that happened early in childhood, 5 years old. I realized I was born in the wrong family. That's kind of crazy. So terrifying. Then obviously I had to take care of myself. So anyway, so that was my beginning of starting to watch people. I was a kid in the corner watching everyone, trying to understand my circumstances. How can that be? And how other people turn out completely different in the same community, right? This guy's a genius. This guy's a dork. This guy's swag. This girl is like, how does that, so watching people my whole life since I was literally
Interesting.
5 years old. It's very fascinating. And you start picking up energy, you start picking up vibes, you start picking up their frequencies, right? So, which is very helpful in my work. But beyond that, as a young adult, I started taking personal development at the age of 23. And so I was of course, a workshop in Northern California. I met this couple, and on the flight back to Los Angeles, we're sitting in like three rows, and ended up sitting with them, which I thought was kind of
Oh, how funny.
right. And I remember thinking, like, there's 200 people on display, and I'm sitting with these two. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's when I thought life was still random. It was the last time that I thought life was random, because that moment, that took goosebumps.
I literally just got goosebumps as well.
So
It's
the
an
lady,
energy. Something's pulling you.
all right. So the lady says to me on the flight, very casually, "What do you do next? What do you do next weekend?" And I'm like, "Next weekend, I'm free. Why? You want to come to a workshop? It's on me." I'm like, "Absolutely." And so I agree to go to it before I even know what it was. They go, "So what's the workshop?" She goes, "Oh, it's called Understanding Women." Right? My face exactly. Like, huh? My reaction is because I didn't know how at the time. I understand it now, but my life with women was always easy. Like I attracted sweet women. That was my go-to. Like I attracted sweet women. You meet my wife, and you go, "Oh my goodness." Like, you know what I mean? Like she's sweet.
Right.
Now, Understanding Women workshop, 100 men and 300 women. What? That's weird, right? That was my first kind of, huh? Like if you had a workshop called Understanding Men, there would be not one dude in there because we understand it. Like, why would I go find out about me, right? Like this. Anyway, so, but it was actually part of the setup. The company has make it so fill the room with men and surround them with women, because through the workshop they would stop on a big like drop the mic moment, and he said just the lead would say, just if you don't, if just so you don't, it's not me in the front, this crazy woman, Let's take 5 minutes to check with the ladies around you. And sure enough, like that cube
So
workshop, that's all.
real life answers,
Oh,
real life people.
we're not even a little bit similar, right? In our operating system and our instinct. So I remember like every time she dropped the mic, I came off my chair about 7 times in that workshop. I came off my chair on the floor with the things I was learning about women that I could never conceive with this brain.
It's like
So
all of a sudden light bulbs went up.
I
Maybe I
mean, and
didn't
it
know
one
everything.
after the other, after the other, after another, like big stuff, like stuff that I couldn't conceive with this brain, right? And the ladies are like, "Yeah, that's how we are. That's how." And instantly got a ton of compassion for women because it's. I realized it's tough to be a girl. Your brain, your operating system, your awareness, everything that comes at you, right? The way your feelings keep changing the day because life comes at you. Right? The biggest thing is I realized if I knew nothing about women, this is what happened. I actually realized I knew nothing, like nothing. This guy who's got swag or whatever, nothing, right? So, but at the time, I'm married with 2 little kids, right? We're doing fine. I'm not looking for this information, but if I
Right.
don't know anything about women, that means I know nothing about my wife. And to me, that was a huge liability. Like, I'm not going to be a statistic because I didn't know this. You know what I mean? My life is perfect. I have everything. And now I see the warning, right? Because what am I doing to her that I don't know I'm doing to her that
Right.
makes her think that she's not, loved and respected? And that I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest thing was that you ladies, when we heard your feelings, you think we know what we're doing, that we actually know what we're doing and we choose to do it on purpose. How long until she hates me? You know what I mean? And that's what happens because I never want to hurt your feelings. That's never like
Right. Well, I
what
hear so
what
many
occurs
times.
to you.
Yeah. No, but I
It,
hear a lot of people will say, well, when she's sad or whatever, I listen or I tell her what can help her. I'm like, but that's not what she wants.
I get it. I get it. So that's like layer, 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 right?
Right. Right.
And the more I learned, the more I realized how much I didn't know. So I had to keep going, to keep going. I'm the guy that everybody talks to, like they just
Yeah.
pour on me. So
I get it. I hear that.
my friends started coming. I had customers at the shop. They're dropping their cars for repairs, and next thing you know, I get spilled on with
Relationship questions.
straight up, right? And then sometimes crying. So much so that the employees knew that if I close my office door means somebody's crying, don't come in.
You're doing therapy.
All the time, right? So this thing happened where like the world was pulling at me, and that was the beginning of Project Equinox. Like literally 2.5 years into that, and so
That's
18
great.
years later, that's all I do. I actually sold the business in order to do this because my God mission is to teach this material to the masses because everyone's confused, as you know.
Yeah.
Relationships are baffling for most of us. There's very good reasons for that. A lot of it is because we're pushed away from, I call nature, right? So nothing I talk about is my opinion. It's nature, science, anthropology, biology, and psychology. These are the masters I work with. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
not my opinion.
Right. It's not an
And
opinion. It's rooted in science,
it's
basically.
not, and research data,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Interviews, like thousands. So when I speak, and you'll hear this in my voice, I speak with like certainty because this is not kind of maybe how it's just like boom. So
Right. It's not
often,
you just being like, well, I think maybe you should do
right,
this or do
right,
this. No, this is the way it is. This is the way
right,
it works. This is your biology. This is it.
yeah. Now I have to say this because I do a lot of podcasting because my job, again, the mission is to spread this to the masses. Ladies,
Right.
there's hope. There's good men out there everywhere. Man, there are good
Absolutely.
women out there. There's hope. Right? We just have to calibrate the madness that's out there. So a different story. I did one podcast with a therapist, as a lady therapist, and a
I'm actually not a
feminist.
therapist. I'm a coach.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you. So this woman is telling me, she's asking me about the operating system of man. I am a man. I understand how it works. I can tell you what disrespect, how it hits, right? What I need to be pulled into um, commitment. Like I have the equipment and the
I
chemistry,
am the
right?
man.
I mean, I am. You know what I mean? And this woman was so, I don't think that's true. I'm like, when is the last time you walked around with a penis? Like, what is, she's making me wrong as I'm trying to describe the stuff. Again, forgetting that it's not my opinion. I'm not just talking on my butt. Anyway, so I just want to take this moment to set the audience because I'm direct, often sometimes people find me irritating and or straight up wrong, right? So I want to say when you hear information like this, like I said, I'm going to give it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Again, not my opinion. Right? And sometimes the truth on some, and I would say
First.
more so the feminine, whether it's a man or a woman, because we both have both. But for the feminine, sometimes my directness, my revealing, this is how it works, this is why it doesn't work, right? And when they recognize themselves in something that's not pretty, they feel like I'm condescending, that I'm judging, that I'm pointing the finger at them. I am not. So I'm saying this because I wanted the audience to understand I'm completely on your side. I'm trying to alleviate the pain and confusion in between men and women in relationships. And men, women, women is the same thing. We do, right? So that's my job. So if I offend you, I want you to stop 1 second and understand I'm on your side. I have two gifts for your listeners, and I will invite people to email me about the things they're irritated about because I could actually back it all up. It's not my opinion again. So I'm just saying that's a setup for people to not get triggered and hang up and think I'm full of crap. All right, that's it. That's my setup.
So that being said, we're just going to take a quick commercial break and then we'll continue on. We'll be right back. You've been carrying your sex life questions around alone for way too long. Imagine being surrounded by midlife men and women who are just as hungry for a better sex life as you are, and finally understanding what their bodies are doing and why as they move through this thing called midlife. That is the Vibe Tribe. Live Q&As with me and courses and conversations that actually go somewhere. Equal parts spicy, educational, and the kind of connection that most people didn't even know they were missing. So try it free for a week. And for the full experience, do that free week in the upgraded men's or women's Vibe Tribe so you can see exactly what that elevated space has to offer. Go directly to drstacyfriedman.com and click Vibe Tribe. Come and find your people. Okay, so we're back, and I wanted to kind of ask you the question that I had brought up in our little introduction about the fact that you say that intimacy is not the start of a love relationship. So I want to hear a little bit more about that and what you mean.
And I want to see how you react to that.
Well, you know what? I understand because, I mean, it takes time to be intimate in the first place. You need to build safety and trust before you're
Right.
going to be intimate. So
Right.
that's why I'm curious to hear your
So
opinion.
this is the anthropology work, right?
Okay.
Again, the study of like how we are wired and why we do what we do. Why men, hunter gatherer kind of thing. There's a programming in place, this instinct in place that no amount of therapy will change. Like, you know what I mean? That's instinctual.
It's ingrained in you. Yeah.
It's the hard drive, right?
Right.
So for men,
Unpack.
okay, a few layers, right? So typically, right, a woman needs to feel safe and connected to open up to sex.
Right.
Okay, so that's the first thing. We understand that. On the other side, men actually connect emotionally
It's
with
physical.
sex. With
Right.
sex.
Right.
So you need to feel safe to connect, but for us to connect, we have to have sex.
Right.
So first problem, you know what I mean? So, however, again, nature and instinct has it that a man who's a man, by the way, there's four types of men in my world. So a man is not a boy, right? There's a lot of boys or grown men. They look like men, but they're not. Their operating system is completely different. They're takers as opposed to givers. Their instinct is backwards. They're more feminized and masculinized. So no role model to be man. So they become feminized, whatever. So there's a lot of them in our culture. So when I talk man, understand I'm talking about man, not boys, right? Men, there's four types of men in my world. So a man is not a boy, right? There's a lot of boys or grown men. They look like men, but they're not. Their operating system is completely different. They're takers as opposed to givers. Their instinct is backwards. They're more feminized and masculinized. So no role model to be man. So they become feminized, whatever. So there's a lot of them in our cultures. Because some people say, well, not all men are like this. Well,
That's because they might not be considered a man.
Exactly. But if you're a masculine woman, often you attract feminine men and you think that's men because you keep attracting the same thing. That's nature again, by the way. Nature attracts opposite, period. So whatever you're in, energetically, you attract the opposite. And sometimes it's terrible because the opposite doesn't work well, right? These guys don't make you feel safe. Anyway, so if we talk about intimacy too quickly, we live in a culture where, we start dating. I like you, you like me. Date one, date two, date three, right? Date four is like, so, you know what I mean? Because I like you, you like me. We have chemistry, right? So, however, psychologically, oh, chemically, psychologically, like hormonally, right? When a man's interested in you, and they say like by date number four, if you get a fourth date, you got him. There's a hook. because otherwise,
Yeah, because usually they say, oh, if they don't have sex in the first 3 dates, I'm done.
well, men will say this, but boys will say this. Men won't say this. Now, again, the difference is there are men who are dating to find a wife and build a life with a woman, and there are men that date just to screw around and have fun.
Right.
They look the same, they talk the same, right? But in the conversation, if you know what to look for to decode avoiding the boys will say stuff like, I need to know if we're compatible sexually. And a woman who's a little bit insecure and or needy, right? Because wherever you guys so in your head, often you need the connection, you need the intimacy to feel like a girl, right? You'll collapse your boundaries because you don't want to lose them because he may be the one, and that's problem number one, right? So a guy who's going to who's going to try to shame you for not putting out, that's not a man. Let me
Right.
just say that. Because a man who's trying to build would actually be very respectful and actually move much slower. So much so that you may start questioning by date 4 why he
Are they
hasn't tried to
attracted
kiss
to
you.
me? Do they like me?
Right. He didn't try to kiss you, right? But he's so
Right.
respectful. He sees potential in you that he actually moving very slowly on purpose to be respectful. And he wants to get to know you because we know that when we have sex, everything's different, right? She starts blowing my phone. She wants to see if I come back. And again, if you don't like the girl, right, we don't want that. So we learn as we get a little bit older that sex changes everything. So if I'm trying to build, looking for my person, I'm not trying to go fast as
Right.
a man, a real man, right? So in that, there's also I have to kind of pride myself in revealing to her that I'm a good guy, provide, right? In the beginning, as there's levels of that, it accrues, provide, protect, cherish, give, support, lead, pay. These are all masculine natural traits. We don't have to. There's no no manipulation needed for us to do this. This is our instinct, right? So if I don't have to do anything much than buying you dinner 3 times for you to put out, my instinct, again, it's not a thought process. Men don't have like this, like, oh my God, I can't believe she did that, right? It's more like my instinct says, I didn't even have to show that I'm a good guy for her to like open up like this. It's kind of weird. This is the masculine man again. And I wonder how many times she's done this. So now your virtue is compromised per my thinking of what just happened. And a guy who wants to build with you will typically put you in to have fun with zone until he finds the one to build with. So you hook up with him too early. He likes the sex, he loves the sex, but usually we push yourself into not to build with. So he's going to play with you for 2 months, 2 years, still looking for the one, right? And this is where women get devastated because you actually think you have a relationship. For most of the ladies nowadays, they think intimacy starts a relationship. And for men, intimacy doesn't start a relationship. And actually, worse than that, it kills it. So
Well,
for let me just finish that a little bit because it's important.
yeah.
Psychologically, when you have sex too early, right, before his heart is in it, right, his his ability to care for you stops at the moment he has sex with you. So he cannot go any deeper in a relationship with you if you did it too early. Like however 3-4 weeks he liked you, cross that line and it stops. You can't go any deeper. You go into that section. Now, man can't explain this. I just explained it to you, like the psychology. Man can't. We just respond to it. It's like, yeah, she was cool, but looking for my wife, right? And I want to have sex because that's bleeding in my heart. But if you don't if you don't keep the gate, well, you just change category. And again, it's no thought process. It's just click. She's not the one.
Right. But what about the women that, because there's obviously different kinds of women. So for many times you're going to have a woman that might put themselves in the situation because they don't want to lose the guy. And
Yeah.
then, like you said, that guy might be like, okay, I'm done. We had sex too soon. And the woman's like, but what about this? But what about this? I gotta, why are they not answering? But then if you have a woman that might be like, well, you know what? I want to have sex because I'm attracted to the person and it's pleasurable and I don't have to have a commitment.
Good
That
for
can, I
you.
think, change the dynamics as well.
Tell me how.
Well, I'm just looking at my own situation because I'm not looking at the science of it. But I know that anybody that I've ever been with, that I've been in a long-term relationship with, um, it started because I wanted to make sure that we were sexually compatible because maybe I was interested in, let's say, having sex at the beginning because I wanted to have sex.
Sure.
And I was not the type of person to be like, oh,
Are you going to call
you didn't
me?
call
Want to
me
hear from you?
today?
Yeah,
you know
right.
so they wound up falling for the person, I guess, at that point, because they realized I wasn't putting any pressure or anything like that. So that's why I'm wondering, does the effect of the woman have any effect on how the man responds?
So again, and I didn't say that in my setup, but another thing I'm talking about is 100%, right?
Yeah, of course, of course.
There's a, but no, but people will say, well, I'm not all women are like that, right? And we're not talking about the exception. We're talking about the generation,
The general, right,
the
right,
80% is the 80%, 80-20 rule to everything in life. And so we
right.
call normal the 80%. The rest are
So it's
hybrid.
more of generalizing that this is normally what would happen.
Yes, it's like
Yeah,
it's not 100%. It's not the truth
right.
for everybody. I have people that said we had sex on our first date. Now we're married. I go,
Yeah,
okay,
same.
let's talk about it in 10 years from now, though, because there's also a long-term repercussion to that first setup. I'm just gonna say I don't want to go into it because it's complicated,
Right,
but
right.
it's like until you have like literally a 25-year history, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I get it to a point. And like I said, I don't want to shame anybody with having sex. You a girl want to have sex, go get laid. Go for it.
Right,
Right.
right.
But if you want to build with a man, that typically does not work. The
Yeah,
guy who
no, I
wants to
get that.
build, a guy wants to build, wants to be virtuous, he wants to be able to trust you, he wants to know that you're not that girl, that I mean, that the whole block is known. Like that's just shameful for a man. Seriously.
Only if
So
it's
you
half the
buy
block, not the whole block, but
right. Like seriously, this is when body count really counts for men. The ones who want to build. And I was on a podcast one time with a bunch of coaches, right? It was a summit, and there was four guys, four leadership coaches, no training of any kind, just like some slick guy who thinks but they were players, they were womanizers, right? So, and they're playing ways and telling men how to get played, how to whatever. It's the exact opposite of who I am. I'm trying to get people to build together, not play
right,
together. It's easier to play together. But
right,
these guys, when we brought the question about body count, right? I'm like, body count is super important for the men who want to build. Like, they're not interested in a girl who's been run through. That's just, it takes her value to the floor, and they'll play with her, but they'll never take her seriously. And they're, I'm not like that. I don't care where she's been. She could have like 2,500 guys. Like, I don't care what, I know, because you don't want to marry her. You just want to play with her. That's what,
right.
you know what I mean? And when I put that in their face, like, well, so I'm like, that's the difference.
Right. That's not the point I'm trying to make.
That's not the point. The
Right,
guys that if you want to build as a woman with a man, right? Men are very specific instinctively of what that looks like, and it's virtuous, right? Dr. Allen used to say stuff like, men marry virtue, not vaginas. Sex does not make us pull up. By the way, it's everywhere and it's free. That's not it. It's not your
true.
body. It's not sexuality. It's who are you, and are you fitted to support me in my life's goal with you? Are you
Right,
with me to build this castle, this family, this legacy for me? Because that man who have masculine men want to marry, they want to have children, they want to leave a legacy. That's the whole purpose of working so hard. The guys, the boys, the players, they don't want any of that. They just want to take from you, take your time, take your body, take your sex, take your car because they can't fix this crap, this piece of crap. Like move in with you. They do exact opposite. Instead of giving, providing, protecting, they take with a smile.
right. So,
Ouch.
yeah.
Ouch. Right?
Right. But I understand how things can be generalized, because I know many times when I'm working with my clients, I will say in general, because it doesn't
Right.
mean that everybody
Yeah.
is going to
It's
fit
not
that
just
mold, but it is,
mhm.
it is general. And I do agree with you in a lot of that, because I work with a lot of people that are trying to, get connected with partners, and they're so paranoid. Well, I just want to have fun, but I'm afraid to sleep with them. And so I hear it all the
Yes.
time. But
Oh, yes.
when you talk about the masculine and feminine energy and those types
Yeah.
of roles, and people automatically assume that when you're saying things like that, it's very gender rigid roles. So how is the polarity different from that?
So you understand we both have masculine and feminine within us, first of all,
Right,
right? So when I
right,
say masculine and feminine, I'm not saying us and you. I
right.
mean
It's a joint.
us,
Right,
all of us,
right.
right? So within you as a woman, you have a masculine side and a feminine side.
I sure do.
However, if you lean into your masculine more than your feminine, right? Which is the way we raise you nowadays. Go girl, boss babe. Don't need no man. You can't trust them anyway. So get independent, right? That's to me, that's toxic. That kind of talking conversation is toxic. Men are not toxic and dangerous. Boys are. Here we go again. Right. So know your audience and know who you're attracting. But we both have both. But a woman is better off in line living through her feminine essence more, and you have to have your masculine side to get life done, to work, to right. But if
Right,
you
right.
tilt it the other way too much, you attract the wrong type of man, and you think that's men. Every one of my clients is a boss babe who's attracted little boys who don't want to take care of them, don't want to marry them, don't want to pay for them. They want 50-50. They want to move into her house. I'm like, dude, right? So men don't do this. You understand that a masculine man would never even consider moving to your house. It would be like disgusting. It's repellent. Like, what kind of a bitch am I that I have to
Right.
move into
They
this
want to
woman's
be
house?
the so-called man of the house. They want
And they
to,
have their stuff
yeah,
together already. So what
right.
you have to be, if a man is in the masculine, right, and we have this feminine sensitive side, right? I call it like father energy, daddy energy, lover energy, husband energy. It's different than the guy at work. So we have kind of two worlds, right? You ladies have one world. A man is better off being in his masculine and having be able to be sensitive to his wife, to his kids, to his, his. It's a different guy at home than the guy that's at work. There's a warrior at work, and it's a daddy energy at home. So, but a guy has no lover energy or no sensual energy, is a beast, right? That's impossible to connect with as a woman. But a man who has too much feminine energy doesn't handle his life, right? He's putting it on you to help, to support, to give him a little money, to like,
Right.
that's it. So we both have both.
You
The
have a balance.
magic is, if you want a man, the man that you ladies all want is a traditional man. Provide, protect, cherish, give, support, lead, and pay. You know what I mean? So we don't, men don't necessarily owe you that. It's like, who do you have to be for him to want to do all this? Because the men are very specific, right? If I want to build, she
It
has
had
to believe
looking
in me.
for
She has
somebody
to blow,
specific, right?
right, and she has to blow wind in my sail, not blow wind in my face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with the masculine men that you want, right, a traditional, always been, our role has never changed. Except in our culture, the ladies, a lot of the women have been trained to not be traditional, to refuse to be traditional, that marriage is a trap and kids will ruin your life. And you wonder why men walk away. Like, because the men who are masculine, the ones that you want, provide, protect, want marriages, families, and leave a legacy. That's the purpose of their lives, to work hard to build something they can be proud of and leave behind. That's the natural masculine. So
So,
we have
yeah,
both. It's you have to figure out which one you're showing up in with. And
right.
like I said, if you want a better life as a woman, I say live through your essence, through your body more than your head. Because to be in your head is to be masculine, to be in your body and your heart is to be feminine. We both have both, but I'm better off being logical, linear, and conquer the world to take care of you, support you and the family, right? When you're better off showing up in your heart, your warm, your feminine, warm, lovely, radiant female energy. This is what attracts me, right? To then be nurturing and take care of the back, I call it the CEO of the family with the kids. And that's a yin yang, right? It's completely two different roles.
Right.
And it's beautiful and it's made to fit, except in our culture, we decide to neutralize this. And this is what actually starts all the problem. Like, it's not working when you dismantle nature, because it's nature. This is nature.
Right.
How can
And
you
so
neutralize
what
it?
would you say that women are, besides them, to help maybe them understand a little bit better on what they're doing wrong? Maybe they don't even realize it, that keeps the men from stepping into that caring,
Mhm.
protective, providing energy role.
Well, it's not they don't, and it's not that they're doing it wrong. It's they just got sucked into the culture. They
Right.
just got sucked into. You're supposed to be, for a woman nowadays, to be a good woman. She has to be a boss babe, make six figure, work like a dog, and then supposed to take care of her husband and a couple of kids and make all that run with ease, right? And that's the go-to. That's the superwoman syndrome that women are going after. Except you can't do both. Nobody can do both. It's impossible. You do one or the other. You can be in both lanes. So I have few times a year, I have a woman will call me and say, I don't understand what's wrong with me. I go, tell me what's wrong with you. She goes, well, I don't know. I have everything. I have a good job. I make a lot of money. I work hard, but it's really satisfying, But, I, I'm disconnected from myself, right? I feel hollow. I'm tired. I'm not present with my husband. I'm not present with my kids. I'm like a shell of myself. But I have everything. I go, honey, you have two full-time jobs. Nobody can sustain that, because
Yeah.
a
Nobody.
household,
Yeah.
a household for a woman is a full-time job, right? Like the environment being dirty and dusty, and the dishes and the laundry, like you see
Yeah. That is
everything.
a full-time job for sure.
I know. So you can't relax at home, and you spend all your energy at work. So now you have two worlds to manage, right? But for
Yeah.
men, we don't do it that way. We spend energy outside. right? We're conquerors. Testosterone allows us to do this very easily, right? It's not as costly as what I'm saying to the body that is for you, right? But when we come home, we don't care about the house. When I come home is a place to recover, to relax. So, and if you leave men working, living together, you notice bachelors, pads, pizza boxes everywhere, and beer cans, and it smells, and the garbage is full of spilling over, because that environment does not bother us until it's really stinky, right? But like my point is, like, the mess doesn't bother us. The
Right.
mess doesn't keep us, doesn't allow us, doesn't keep us from relaxing. I'm home, plop, like I'm just
Right.
recovering. So,
Right.
but the feminine comes home, the dust, the dishes, the laundry, the tables, the curtains, the pillows, the beds unmade, the laundry, right? So I say, honey, you have two full-time jobs, and so you have to give one up and or readjust both part-time,
Right.
right? And
Yeah, and it's
ah,
tricky also with the way things are in just society in general, because everything is so expensive. You can't always expect someone to be able to stay home, and it sometimes gets that tricky line
yeah,
in
yeah.
between it all.
And again, there's a bit of a trap there. It's called the dual income myth in our culture. That is not, I mean, doable without both. I'm going to say.
Yeah.
If you research a little bit, right, what happens typically is people have, she has a job, he has a job, right? They both make money, they come together, a lot of money, right? So lifestyle goes up, right? Big
Right.
house,
And you
big
need more
apartment,
money.
right? Right. But that's what I mean. So you have a lifestyle that you adjust to your income, but in that, if you're gonna have children, somebody has to take care of the kids. So somebody
Right.
has to, right? So, but if you have yourself trapped all the way up here with a big house and the brand new cars, right? You can't break the chain to actually have
Yeah,
the
people
space
are
and time.
living beyond their means, I think, many times too.
Completely. That's
Yeah.
that's really the trap, because if you actually keep your lifestyle low, that her
Right.
income, right, could be put aside, invested, right, stay in a smaller place, like manage that everything is actually affordable with one salary,
Right.
more or less, and it could be adjusted on the other side, but that money gets played. Now, if she has to like have, decide to start a family, which what men want, like masculine men, now there's room and money and finances because we're not living beyond our means. So that's American culture. We literally trapped ourselves, paint ourselves in a corner because we
Yeah.
think money. Oh, we live like
Yeah.
that.
Every time you get more money, you have to buy bigger and better things. And
Yeah,
rather
and
than
that's
just,
that's
yeah,
because the reality is you could actually do it. People do it
yeah,
all the time. They
yeah,
lived in their means and below their means even, and are able to flex by choice, where
right,
she doesn't have to work full time.
right. Well, I want to get this commercial break done, and then we'll talk
Sure.
about what men really want and what helps make them commit. So
Oh, beautiful.
real quick, because this is important. If your relationship feels more like a great roommate situation rather than a hot, connected partnership, this one is for you. My Pleasure Playbook, Ignite Your Intimacy, is a step-by-step guide to unlocking passion, connection, pleasure, not just in the bedroom, but everywhere. We're talking the foundation stuff that actually makes sex better: emotional safety, communication, touch, novelty, and blowing up every myth that's been killing your desire. $27, link in the show notes, or drstacyfriedman.com. Go to shop and look up the Pleasure Playbooks. Love didn't go anywhere. It just needs the fuel. And I'm giving it to you. Check it out. So anyway, so we're back, and I wanted to talk a little bit about, because I'm sure the women would want to know the information about men and commitment, because
Mm.
you say sometimes that it's the opposite of what most women think. So what is it that actually makes a man decide that she is the one?
All right. So it's, and again, another research in psychology, right? So men men have a list in our heads of checkpoints that we can't even describe.
Men and their lists. What's with men and their
Well,
lists?
because that's how we get stuff done,
Right,
right?
right,
But this is like subliminal. This is like in the head. It's like,
right,
is she fun to be with? First thing, is she cool? Is she fun to be with? Check one. This is what you get to know, right? And then, does she get me? Right? My wife's a ballerina, beautiful, sophisticated ballerina since she was 6 years old. Right? She still does. Right? That's her life. That's her dream. Part time, by the way. Part time. You can imagine. She can be a wife and a mother in the rest of the time. Right? That's what works. My most fun hobby is to go to the junkyard on the weekend. I'll go to the junkyard in Southern California, where it's 115 degrees. It's hot as all hell, right? And it smells like gas and oil. It's messy. Like I come back from there looking like a homeless guy. My hair is like this big. I'm covered in dirt, right? But it's a big smile on my face, right? There's a chase, the hunt for the part, right? There's hunting, there's finding, there's the competition of getting the first one to get to that car because that part is always broken on those cars. That one. Oh my god. Anyway, so a lot of dopamine, right? Makes zero sense to her. Now, if she didn't get me, she'd go, "That's so stupid. Like you smell like hell, and why do you go
Right.
there?"
Make you feel shitty.
Right? But women don't understand a man's sort of hobbies. Often will say that it's so stupid. Whether you collect stamps or whatever, right? It's kind of stupid. This is really not getting your man. And again, if you don't get him, why would he step into that long term? Because he's going to be battling you his entire life, right?
Yeah.
So and a man's hobbies, by the way, is the thing that we do to recover, right? So I have work for duty and responsibility. My hobbies is for me to go, whew, you know what I mean?
I'm glad you say
So
that because so many men don't have the hobbies and they need to get out there and have something
yes,
that's special for them.
absolutely. And it could be anything, right? Like
Yeah.
it could be absolutely anything. Collecting, I love cars. Some guys like to do like, woodwork in a garage, or like
Yeah.
whatever. But
Anything.
like
Yeah.
that's the letting the brain go. You know what I mean? Because we're always in our heads thinking, right? So if I need to stop this machine, I just need to do something that keeps me from trying to plan to plot, right? It's relieving the brain's constant push for production, for survival, for anything that's to be done. Like it just pull the plug. That's part of recovering, as well as much as sitting on the couch doing nothing is part of recovering the body and the brain. And the other one is sleeping, which is essential. So like all these things are in place. So if you don't get him, if you think these hobbies are silly, that's a no, right?
Right.
And again, out of the 10 things, right, if you have more than one no, he's not getting married. He's going to keep you around because you have all these, but he's not going to pull the trigger, and you won't be able to explain it, right? How come
It's
we
just the
don't get
feeling.
married? I don't know. Yeah, no, it's like we love each other, yeah, but he's missing a
Right.
piece,
I was going to say, what
right?
is that? What is that missing piece?
And it's different for different guys. Do you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like respect is a big, huge thing. So you ladies, the same way we hurt your feelings on a regular basis because we don't understand why you get your feelings hurt because that's not what I said. That's not what I meant. That's not how'd you get there, right? We think you know, right? You make things up that we didn't say, right? But so to us, it's a little. But we do hurt your feelings all the time out of just being men, right? And missing, either forgetting something or not.
Right.
I get it. Small things hurt your feelings, right? And we're like, why does that bother you? And you want to kill us. So we know. Right? So the same way that we hurt your feelings, we don't mean to, even though it seems obvious to you. Are you ready? You ladies disrespect the hell out of us constantly, and you have no idea you're doing it. And so part of men, getting to commitment is really understanding deeply a profound sense of she respects me.
Right.
With me. And but the blind spot here for the ladies is you would disrespect us is the blind spot for you because these things would not make you feel disrespected. So you'll do it not knowing, and then I always say, you'll know you disrespect a man, right? Are you ready? The first thing you'll see is this: it's going to clench. That's a sure sign for you, like, oh, what did I just say? What did I just say? What just happened, right? Because you'll be fine, and then clench, and then you'll go back energetically, disconnect, which scares the hell out of you, right? You lose the connection, and he may be in front of you, sitting at a table, and cold, cold, cold vibe, or he may actually leave the space.
Mhm.
Like, what? I was just trying to help. Part of disrespect is you don't
Right.
get to decide to help me when you think I should need help. You don't get to
Yeah.
say thinking. You don't get to say, what would be great? We should do better. And if you were more like John, Susie's husband. Now, to you,
Oh, that's the worst.
no, but to you, it's like not. It's pretty harmless, right? You're just
Right.
talking, but it's crushing a man's inside.
Ego or
It's not
inside.
ego. It's
Not
really is
ego.
sense of self. It's sense of
Yeah.
self, like
Yeah.
right. It's crushing, and you lose them, and
Yeah.
you don't know why. The same way that we lose you when you get your feelings hurt, and we're like, I was, yeah, I don't know. She was fine. No, she's not. Oh, yeah, but there's a story here somewhere, right? There's always something that happened, but we're blind to this a lot. So that's a big disconnect. So men have this checklist, but in the end, Commitment is, I'm going to say this. Are you ready?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Hi, yes.
Let me
So
prepare.
I'm gonna
Okay.
completely counterintuitive. Get ready, put a seatbelt on. It's not that it's not controversial. It's just kind of a blind spot again. Is that men understand commitment completely. You ladies don't understand it at all. I love to see your brain. I did it on purpose.
The brain's working. The brain's
Yeah.
working. Okay.
What do you think I mean by that? I'll explain, but
Well,
go ahead.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm not sure.
And there's a
I
blind
mean,
spot.
you know what though? But I kind of understand a little bit because I know that when I talk to a lot of people, and I think this is probably why I'm so good at what I do, is because I can understand being in both
Both sides.
parts.
Yep, me too.
Right. And so there's many times where I hear women say all the time, well, why won't he commit to this? Why won't he do this? Why won't he do this? And I'm like, because you're doing this. And like, sometimes I'm just like, because you don't get it. You don't
Right.
understand that it's just actually pretty simple,
Yep.
but they're not
Yep.
getting it. So I
Right.
understand
No.
what you're saying, but maybe you can
Yeah.
explain it a little better.
So going a little bit beyond, right? You understand as a man, now a real man, not a boy. I have to keep saying that because you're like,
Right.
we would say, but my boyfriend's not, he's not a boy, he's not a man. So
Right.
that's the go-to, right? Like you understand as a man, I can't do anything without committing to it first. I can't do anything. It's like for me to get out of bed in the morning, I have to commit to get out of bed. You know what I mean? Commit to like to my business and my work. So I get in the shower because I have to do this before I get in the car. I drive to, everything I do requires a commitment. So we're not afraid of commitment. We can't live without moment to moment commitment to everything that we
Right.
do to
You
take
need
care
the
of ourselves.
structure.
Commitment. We commit to
Right.
things. That's how they get done. If I'm not
Right.
committed to it, I'm not doing it. Right. So there's a whole like right value system that comes into place. Right. So it's not like we don't understand commitment. We understand commitment in a way you can't even imagine, right? We also understand that committed to the wrong woman is the difference between a good life and life in hell. So we have to keep you in check, right? So like the commitment is so huge for us because a good woman makes a great life, and we know a bad woman is hell, right? If she's not bringing me peace and doesn't support me, doesn't get me, right? Is combative, disrespectful, not cooperative. What the hell am I doing? I don't want any of that, which is a lot of what masculine women tend to be nowadays. Combative, just. So men are like, okay, whatever, okay, whatever. How come I can't find a
Yeah.
good man? Well,
Yeah.
energetically, right? Notice how you show up. So commitment again for us is obvious, and by the time we commit to a woman, right, get on one knee, marry her. I'm going to speak for all the men now, right? It's forever. It's not this week. It's not this month. It's not, we'll see next year if I still like her. By the time the commitment clicks, right? She checked all the boxes. She's supporting
Then you're
my
in it.
mission, right? The moment like all the dots are in place, you know what I mean? And then that I decide to take her on to provide, to protect, right? It's like a backpack, an 80-pound backpack to take on. Right? It's a responsibility for life. It's not lighthearted. You know what I mean? So that's a huge responsibility. When I take it, I'll take it seriously, and it's done. It's done, right? On the other side, you ladies, commitment is flighty because you're constantly questioning if he still likes you, if he's thinking about somebody else, if he really, right? So like day to day, you're actually wondering if you really still the woman that he wants. From the stories out there and the fact that you don't understand commitment, to him, it's done. To her, it's like, well, what if you meet somebody? What if he cheats? What if it, what if, right? A woman's
Right.
brain is
I hear that all the time.
right,
That's what I
and
was talking about, you know.
a woman's
Yeah.
brain is what if, what if, what if you don't have the right information, or you're assuming he's not, something is different, you go right
Right.
down the bunny hole to like completely misunderstanding, right? And men will say stuff like, and women again, because we don't understand your instinct to feel safe, we don't have any of that. That's why we don't understand it. So you need to feel connected to feel safe. That's the baseline for a woman. We don't know that. Because I don't feel unsafe ever. Men don't run to the car at night. We're not afraid of
Right.
staircases, elevator, parking lots. You are, right? Because you're aware that your safety is compromised because you're smaller, right? We're bigger and stronger. So we don't have any sense of that. And in that, we don't understand you need for connection, you need for safety. By the way, there's 4 layers of safety a woman needs to be in her feminine. Most ladies in the world live out 2 out of 4, which is why men don't connect with them. Interesting, right? So you have this safety paradigm that we don't understand. And I had a guy call me one time. He's hysterical. What's the problem? He goes, my lovely wife for 10 years. She's the love of my life. She's so sweet. And stuff, and blah, 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 the mother of my children. Like, what's the problem? She goes, well, now I come home. She looks at me. She goes, oh, it's you. And she walks in the kitchen. He goes, she hates me, man. Right? And I go, okay. He goes, I don't understand. I do everything right. I go to work like a dog, right? I don't cheat. I bring the resources, right? I come home every day. You know what I mean? Like, I do everything a man's supposed to do. And I'm like, you dumbass. You dumbass. I'm like, I'm telling you what's happening with her because you don't understand what she needs instinctively, right? She feels like you take it for granted. You don't notice all the things she does around the house. You don't thank her for the things you don't see. But again, we don't have a radar for that necessarily, but you have to tune in, dude.
Right,
Right?
right.
She doesn't feel connected to you. You don't talk to her enough, right? You get on the couch, flip on the TV, which makes her feel unsafe. And now she questions if you really care for her, love her, and that feels disrespected. Now she's like, in
It's
one
the
side,
whole
I
thing.
can, boom, right? And it's like, well, I don't understand. I married her. I, I, I know you did the big thing because he's like, what else could I do? I
Right,
married her.
because
Like,
women and men are so different in how
completely.
they,
So
yeah,
men will stick to that. Like, I've married her, commitments forever. I'm not going anywhere, right? For a woman, you need constant reassurance of this connection so you don't understand, commitment like we do. That's just what I'm saying. And then that it's okay, but understand that you don't get it. That's why I need a constant reassurance that makes us crazy. Do you still love me? Like, and men will say shit like, I came home, didn't I? Which makes you
right.
really
And then that
angry.
makes her
But
pissed off.
of course, but to
Yeah,
us,
no,
it's like, what else am I supposed to do? Because we actually show you we love you by our action, not as much our words. You have to get
right,
that too,
right.
right? So there's all these layers. I could do this all day long. Can you do that?
No, I get it. I get it. And that's why we do what we do to help people understand each other because it's not always easy for people to understand themselves. And so,
Amen.
you know,
Amen. But get
absolutely,
this, that
absolutely.
same gentleman, because I don't know about your work, but in my work, I don't have to work with both at all. I work with just one of them.
Oh no,
When I
I work
teach,
both and one.
I do both sometimes when they're married and we have to we negotiate the terms of everything, right? They're about to get
Right,
divorced because I would say, so that's different. We have to dismantle and rebuild.
right.
But sometimes, like I said, if the problem is more like interim kind of thing, we're not in trouble, we just have this huge disconnect, right? And if it keeps going, we're gonna slip apart kind of thing. So when I catch him there, all I have to do is teach the man what a woman needs instinctively, the way she operates, and the ways to make her feel safe and connected that we're blind to. And as he does that, you bring out everything good out of her. She's lovely. She's warm. She feels safe, right? So change her. And so most clients, I never work with the other one. I just tune them into the needs of the other one. They
And
also
it kind of
understand the
just
need.
works together.
And it's just because same thing with a man. If you understand a man's operating system, his instinct, well, what respect looks like, that's a huge one for us, right? When you get that, you can bring out the best in him. Now the hero shows up, right? The guy who wants to provide and protect with a smile. He'll kill himself to do so, but so is instinctively you know how to pull the best. So like my point here is this man who's like, she hates me, right? He did the work. She had no idea I existed. Sometimes they know, sometimes they don't know. Sometimes they mix it.
Yeah,
But
same,
this one,
same.
this one, she had no idea I existed, except that he understood. The more he understood himself, because I teach men stuff they don't know about themselves first as well, and then what she needs to da da da. And he's like, dude, thank you so much. I got my wife back, right?
Right,
Same woman who loved him, but the
right.
disconnect made her feel blah, blah, blah. He goes, now she greets me at the door, with a kiss and sometimes a glass of wine. I'm
Well,
like,
that's why they say
very
sometimes
good.
it only takes one person to change a
It does
relationship
in
because
my
they're
world.
going to react according to your reactions. And if you change how you react and what you do, they have no choice but
They
to
just
react
respond. They
differently.
respond.
The
But again, to
response,
me, it's
right,
understanding their operating system on the opposite side that's completely different than yours.
right,
Understand their instinct that have nothing to do with yours. They're completely like blind to it. So when you get it, you provide that on both sides. They connect, they feel safe, they feel right, and you just bring out the best in them. So you bring the
right.
hero out of man, and you bring a woman into safety in her heart, where she wants to
Love
be
that.
nurturing, loving, and kind, and warm and beautiful, and that keeps us connected. You know, emotionally, sexually, all of that comes to that.
Right. Right.
Whew.
Well, Whew.
right?
So if people are listening out there and they're thinking,
Yes.
okay, this sounds exactly like my relationship. We love each other, but something is off. What would you say would be a good first step that they can take to make a change?
My first thought was hire me.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Self-serving over here. No, it's just really an understanding the opposite side where we
Right.
miss, because we live in a
Which you
culture
help
of,
with.
right. Well, we live in a culture of men and women the same. It's equal rights, equal pay, of course. I'm not a pig, but it kind of became this thing with men and women should be the same to be good people. So we feminize and soften the men, shame that I'm being masculine. We empower women, go girl, boss, babe. Right? We know that doesn't work. So often it's that tension of disconnected where if you become man on man, there's going to be conflict and fighting. That's what a lot of couples do, right? If you both get into feminine, they collapse completely, nothing happens. So we still need, nature needs a yin yang, a masculine
Yeah.
and feminine. And in the right order, if you want to go 35 years. In the wrong order, it'll last 10 years maximum. Just saying, this is all the data, the status. So what men and women have to understand is we're not even a little bit the same, right? My strength as a man are completely opposite of my wife's strength as a woman, right? But together, holy cow, right? Because we complete each other, right? So I always say, this is the way I put it, that's crass, like we're as equal as our genitals. Duh. Right? But get this, made to fit perfectly,
Right.
beautifully. That's the point where our
Made to
personality,
fit perfectly.
our instinct, everything is made to fit, but it's opposite. It's just like on genitals. That's the point. So the fact that he's
Right.
different than you is not something to make him wrong for, trying to change him, trying to make him act right. That's what women do. And same with the man, right? If she just stopped talking, if she just did one thing at a time, she just finished something or saw something else, Jesus. So we try to make the other one act like us, not understanding that it's the fact that we're so different that is a magnet. So instead of trying to change each other, make each other wrong, how about we embrace those differences and negotiate the terms? That's what
Right.
successful people do. Right, so that's the
Right.
work. That's what the work. So understand that he's not like you. He's never going to be like you. He's never going to talk like you. That's your girlfriend, right? And vice versa. The moment there's tension that we don't understand, that's what creates separation. So by understanding and learning, right,
Brings
and
you
we
right back to
back
each
into
other.
back into flow and back into
Right.
commitment and back to intimacy, all the good stuff that we like. There.
That being said, if people do want to work with you and learn more about you, I'm going to put up your site over here,
Great.
Project Equinox, and let people know a little bit about what you do so that way they can reach out if they need some support.
Yeah. So actually, I have two gifts for the listeners. Is that cool?
Wonderful.
So in this modern days, there's men still want the same thing, women still want the same thing ultimately, right? So my job is to spread the hope, spread the word. It's possible in these modern days, and it's kind of a modern way to do what works more naturally, right? We're not going back to the 50s. I always get accused of that. That's not, no, there's a modern way to do this that works, right? But I notice when I do podcasts, spreading the joy, if I may say, I notice there's two type listeners from the feedback, right? There's listeners that are just starting to dig in a little bit. What's this masculine and feminine? Like they're just starting to kind of get that this buzz thing all over the
Idea
place,
about it. Right.
right? So I call them information seekers. So if we have information seekers listeners, we'll let them qualify themselves. I'm going to send you directly to my email. So if you go to Andre, Andre coaching, COACHING, the number one at Gmail, Andre coaching one at Gmail, in the subject box you write Irresistible Book. I will send you a copy of my book. It's called The 5 Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible.
Nice.
This is my work. This is men's work. This is the work that I do with men. It's decoded, but they find irresistible ladies. And by the way, I sell that on my website. I'll give it to you. Just email me. I'll send it for free. Ask me a question or two. Challenge me, please. Challenge me at anything I said, because I could back it all up. But yeah, information seekers, under coaching one, irresistible book, and it's a workbook, 30 pages, so you have to fill it out. I'll send you a digital copy, but it'll get you a bite on. By the way, ladies, the high, five values, feminine value the men find irresistible have nothing to do with your height and your hair color and your butt size and none of that. It's energetically how do you affect them,
Yeah.
and that's what pulls men into commitment. The part that you were talking earlier. So, information seekers, get the book and ask me some question and tell me I'm full of crap, and I'll correct you or I'll help you understand. So the other type of listeners are people who are like, it resonates, right? Like, oh, recognize themselves, recognize
Right.
that you're
They
checking
feel it
boards,
immediately.
right? They recognize, oh, this guy knows something, or whatever. And if you're more of an action taker, right, the people that are a little bit more brave, Andre Coaching One, in the subject box, just write talk now, and I'll send you my calendar link. We'll do a call like you and I are doing right now, an hour on 15, and in that we'll discover why you're stuck in the loop. Because as you know this, right, we're all traumatized from childhood, small, medium, large, and the
Right.
belief that we made about ourselves in childhood, and the relationship that came after to prove that to us, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, men are dangerous, you can't trust, right? That loop is when you realize it's not men, it's not women, it's kind of you and your programming. So in about 15 minutes on that call, we'll decode where the wheels came off for you in childhood, and realize there's nothing wrong with you. You're a product of your past. And like I
Right.
said, the first thing we do with the work is release that trauma, so you can be present at a choice as opposed to repeating the story that you collected as as far about the world, yourself, life, and people, right? So when you reframe the fact that you're not broken, right, and that we could fix it, then we'll talk about what the dream is, what you want. And like I said, if you want interested in it's no pressure, but if you're going to have the conversation, then you may want to step in, and there's different ways to step in, small, medium, right?
Right.
So it's going to be an offer on the other side of that. But for some people, even if you want to work together, which I encourage anybody to make that call, it's just the conversation of discovery, and understanding there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's life changing. So,
Normalizing. Yeah, you're
right.
normalizing what people are
And all
feeling
of a
and
sudden,
going through.
yeah, because they come at me and they say, what if I'm broken? No,
You're not
no. If you
broken.
think you're broken, it's over, right? Fix that to be free. I mean, 25 years to get here.
And that's what makes us better at what we do, is when we've been through some of our own experiences, we can
Like,
understand what
like,
our clients are going
yeah.
through.
I just want to get them there faster than it took me. I did by
Yeah.
myself. So now with the
Yeah.
tools and understanding, right? Like you, just let's get there. Let's get the good life going.
What I like to do at the end of each episode is give everybody a little bit of a permission slip. So today you gave us so much to think about, and I just kind of want to wrap up with just telling people that you have permission to want a love that doesn't just survive, but actually feels alive, and permission to let go of some of the old relationship advice that's been keeping you stuck, and permission to stop trying to be everything to everyone, and ask your relationship, what do you actually need to survive and thrive, and without guilt, without apologizing, and lean into, because we were talking about energies, to lean into that energy that feels natural to you. And just have a conversation with your partner. Where have we gotten too neutral? Where can we, where have we lost the polarity? What do we need to fix today? Just being aware of things.
Yeah.
I
But
think
people
is
have a hard time with this conversation, right? They have a real hard time because they don't even know really where to start. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
again, there's the ABC to this as well, right? That's why you would hire somebody to help you kind of, make a plan.
Make a big difference. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I always like, it's funny because I find people resist relationship coaches because they think they should be able to figure it out. Our parents
Yeah.
figured it out. Our grandparents figured it out. We've been like millennia, right?
Well, they figured it out, but that doesn't mean they were happy. That doesn't mean,
That,
they just didn't get
and
divorced.
for sure. And then also back then there was less choices, so the roles were
Yeah.
defined much more. So it was what it was, less freedom, but more like in your lane. Right now we took all the lanes. We have 6,500 lanes. It's more confusing. It's not as obvious. So like all
Right.
of that, right? All of that. So understanding the connection that's needed to thrive, as opposed to try to get away from each other and start from scratch. It's
Yeah.
interesting, right?
No,
Culturally.
it is. Okay. Well, we appreciate you being here and being so real, and zero sugarcoating is what I love about what I do, and being able to have it on my platform. So appreciate you trusting all of us with your message, because I know our listeners are going to walk away with seeing themselves in their relationships and seeing themselves differently, and maybe saying to themselves, this is something I need to look into and take care of. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. I always say, if you want the dream, you have to show up.
Yeah. All the information will be in my podcast notes, and I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for helping spread the word.
The best sex life is not behind you. It is waiting for you on the other side of one conversation. I work with midlife men and women who are done settling and ready to actually do something about it. We go deep on desire, confidence, communication, and everything that's been blocking you from the sex life you actually want, because you should be having the kind of sex that makes you forget what day it is. And I'm going to get you there. Your first step is free. Go to drstacyfriedman.com, and at the top of the page, you will see free consultation. Click it and let's talk. So that is it for this episode of the Purple Passion Project, where we keep it real with just the right amount of spice. So if today something stirred in you, make sure you let it. And if you loved what you heard, subscribe on your favorite podcast platforms and on my YouTube at Dr. Stacy Friedman. If you're ready to go deeper, follow me all over social media at Dr. Stacy Friedman for resources, interactive ebooks, tips, a place to find fun adult products, and just for some personal coaching support. Until next time, stay curious, stay turned on, and never apologize for wanting more. We'll see you next time.
This has been the Purple Passion Project with host Dr. Stacy Friedman. Tune in each week as Dr. Stacy breaks down walls, busting myths, and gives you permission to want more with no shame, no filters, and definitely no small talk. Check in every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, on your favorite streaming platforms. We look forward to seeing you next time. Be sure to visit drstacyfriedman.com to learn more.